Good afternoon. It is Monday, August 9th, 2021, 2 p.m. This special meeting of the Board of Commissioners is called to order. City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mayor Hendricks.
Here.
Vice Mayor Price. Here. Commissioner Hodges. Here. Commissioner Andrews.
Here.
Commissioner Hudson.
Here. Is there any public comment this afternoon? City Manager Daniels, do you have any electronic mail for public comment? No, sir. Okay, thank you. Okay, first on the agenda is Ordinance 2021-19, Amendment to Fees and Collection Procedures, Manual to increase sanitation fees, adjust the recycling fees, and increase fees for wet-dry storage. First reading and public hearing.
May I read that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is Ordinance 2021-19, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the Fees and Collections Procedure Manual that was amended by Ordinance 2021-12, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an immediate effective date. That was a reading of Ordinance 2021-19 by title only.
Mr. Laughlin, would you like to take the floor on this?
Sure. So I know we've discussed this in previous workshop. The fact of the matter is, in the last 2 fiscal years audited, the sanitation fund has lost money, meaning expenditures have exceeded revenues for fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 19. So fiscal year 20, the city incurred a loss of approximately $47,000. Fiscal year 19, the city incurred a loss of approximately $62,000. So I think we all, in the course of evaluating that, collectively determined, okay, we need to reevaluate our fees, especially given the rising costs of the 2 major components, tipping fees, as well as recycling fees that have been increasing over time, not to mention, rising wages and benefits as well for the sanitation staff. So I felt it was important in order to provide a new fair rate that will recoup those costs, plus provide some slight overage in order to provide for unanticipated, maybe large CapEx expenditures in a certain year, or unanticipated maintenance costs, whatever may have you. So what you see here is an updated fee and collection procedures manual for 2021. We'll talk sanitation first, then we can go into marina. Is Brian going to be here, Bob, or you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So, and Megan's here, so she can also address any sanitation related questions. So what we did is went through the analysis of basically the budgeted expenses for 2022 through our budgeting process, and determined, based on the number of customers that we had from pulling a sample from as recent as, I think, September 2020, to understand what our customer base looked like. And one of the good things is the city's built out. We're not going to experience wide fluctuations in customers, right? No new huge developments that's going to bring on 1,000 new customers. So our customer base is pretty stable. So in knowing that, we could predict if we raise the rate by a certain percentage, we'll get to our break-even point or a little beyond. And so that percentage increase that was needed was 27.73%. So we increased the rates across the board for sanitation by 27.73%, excluding the costs relating to recycling. So we pulled those out. The total single family per month was $21.83. Now behind that, we had additional documentation from years past that said of that $21.83, $19 is for refuse and $2.83 is for recycling for residential customers. Recycling doesn't apply to commercial because commercial does their own thing and procures their own vendor for recycling. And then multifamily condominium complexes, they get recycling through us, but then we bill them for that actual cost, so we exclude them as well. So it's just those single-family dwellings and maybe duplex and multifamily, but The vast majority are just single-family homes. So what we wanted to do is increase the recycling from the $2.83 to $7, which approximates what Waste Connections charges. They're currently charging $6.44, and it will be going up. In addition, they charge based on 1,900 customers, and in the last survey we did, we were a little more like at 1,600 and change. So there's additional cost incurring for that customer estimate that we're not recouping those revenues because we're not billing 1,900. We're only billing approximately 1,600 and change. So by playing with the numbers in our spreadsheet, if we got that to $7, we would roughly break even on recycling. So for residential customers, it's a 27% increase on that $19, and then that $2.83 is going up to $7, and that gets you to the $31.27 for residential customers. For commercial customers, that's just going to be a 27% increase over what they were paying, and that's on that Exhibit D, the old versus the new, how that was ascertained. So that's
what page is that, Andrew?
What's that?
What page is that?
53.
50. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Andrew, I have a quick question. I know that so we bill this service through the county, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do we know if the county's just using it as a pass-through, or are they tacking something on the end of it?
They do not. I mean, they bill for their water and sewer, but purportedly, I don't believe there's an administrative charge associated with just the same.
You know that answer, Megan? Yeah, I see her running up here.
Well, let's let the expert answer.
They do not bill us for administrative, but they do bill us for the postage costs. So I just got a bill, I think it was $83 for the month of July. So they bill us for what it costs them to mail out. Now, how they calculate that cost between their water and their bills, if it's just a percentage, I do not know. But I know on average per month it's
because I'm going to take a look at my bill, because my commercial bill is a little, well, it's actually now going to be right with the new number. That's $50 higher than what it was supposed to be, so.
I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
that is monthly. Remember, you bill bi-monthly.
Yeah, I know. I get a bi-monthly bill, but still, it's I mean, it was supposed to be. I have a 3 cubic yard dumpster, right? So it'd be 190 plus 190, 380. Getting billed 560.
Picked up. I'm doing an audit right now. I'm almost done with it.
Okay. I was checking. Thanks. I didn't know whether you submitted a bill to them for them to bill us, and then they could take liberties with that and tack on an additional charge to it. There may be more things involved in that number. I'm just kind of looking at it.
There's a lot of utility tax, stormwater.
Right.
There's a lot of things on that bill.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So, Commissioner Andrews, to your point, that's why I kind of want to get this in front of you ASAP, because yes, it does go through Pinellas County Utilities, and they have quoted us approximately up to a 60-day turnaround time from the time we communicate them. So that's why we wanted to get this done as quickly as possible, so early into the fiscal year 22 we can get those rate changes enacted. Yeah,
no problem with the increase. If the increase is necessary, that's great. We shouldn't be losing money on it. But as a board, I guess we have to decide this should be a break-even service for us, right? We're not looking to make money on what's called. So as long as we're not raising it 50% when we know it's a 27% increase, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yep. And then, I apologize, I thought Brian Rao would be here, but on the marina fees, let me pull up his information.
Before we go on, somebody asked at one point that we break out the recycling fees from the refuse fees, and I don't know, is that just in the billing and to have it show up correctly on the bi-monthly bill, or did we want to do it here also?
Well, we don't send the bill.
Right.
So I guess we'd have to ask Pinellas County, because they collect it for us.
Yeah, I mean, they send, one amount for sanitation. And your question is, would it be possible to show sanitation of X and recycling of Y for the total amount?
Yes,
can
I thought
hire.
we discussed that, or somebody brought it up. I think trying to show how much that people are paying for recycling.
And we can certainly ask to see if that's something that they could show on the bill. And of course, we have that information, so we can publish that on our website.
Megan, I guess the question is, can we have that as a line item on the bill, recycling?
I have not asked that question to Pinellas County, but I can. I can send an
Thank
email
you.
to Chris and ask her.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I discussed, nobody wanted any part of it, but that was trash pickup on the beach. Can we bill beachfront condos a different price for trash pickup than we do other buildings, other condominium complexes, and other hotels if they're off the water?
Sit there, will you?
Yeah, there you go.
Trying to get my steps in today. So we do not have a fee for a 96-gallon toter, which is what is out at the beach. We also, with the trash cans being on wheels, they get moved around a lot. We don't have trash cans behind every single condo right now. Whenever it's the height of the season, we will have 125, 150 cans out there. But currently, we have maybe 75, and the majority of those are at our properties. Archibald has 12, maybe more than that now. And every one of the accesses, which is 22, has a can or possibly two. Now, in spots such as Ocean Sands, we have cans over there only because people use Archibald and go out and they're trashing the beach over there. Same thing goes on the other side at Sereno. So if you want to, I personally feel as though that would be opening a can of worms because we're trying to keep the beach cleaner, and it's not their residents or their visitors that are doing it. It's coming from the public park.
Well, a lot of it is their residents or their visitors. I know because I've picked trash up along there before. And my only thing is I know there is another city near here that properties that abut the Gulf of Mexico have different ordinances, different charges than properties that do not.
We can do it.
And I'm throwing it out there. It's not something I'm, on a crusade for or anything like that, but I do know we pick up a lot for them.
We can try it and then see what will happen.
Maybe we can require rental properties on the beach to supply X amount of cans between their property and the beach for X amount of rooms that they're responsible for, right?
That they empty?
I'm sure they have them that they emptied themselves anyway, right? They've got garbage cans in their parking garages.
Most of them do, yeah.
Room enough that so maybe we make it a requirement that I know most people when they leave the beach, they want to get rid of that trash ASAP. They just drag it through the sand. They're going to put it in the first can that they can, but I don't know. Maybe we can ask them.
Maybe it's something I shouldn't have brought up, but I do think they also contribute a lot to what I've seen out there.
Some of them do. Some of them do not.
It depends on the individual that's renting. Some are pigs, some aren't.
Correct.
So, okay. I guess I've beat that horse.
The only thing I have to add on Marina is just the Marina Director, Brian Rao, requested approximately a 5% increase for wet and dry storage fees, mainly to be commensurate with what the market bears. So wanted to have an increase on those fees, and that's what's reflected in the Exhibit C for the old and new fee comparison for Marina. It's what best depicts what the before and after is.
Do we know when the last time we raised our fees at the marina for all this storage and liveaboard and?
I thought it was 2015.
Okay.
It was quite some time. I know it came up when they were doing the study.
I will say, to me, it's not acceptable that a director does not show up when we're going over fees and such for his or her department. They need to be here to answer questions.
I agree, and I just wasn't aware that he wasn't going to be here, so I will find out. Our city attorney says it's 2016 from the document.
2016?
The date.
Okay.
Yes, so I was a year off. I apologize.
Once again, we need to be slowly raising these things instead of, we got a $23 a month increase now for dry storage of your, you know, I don't know. It just seems like that's a jump that should have been cut in half 5 years ago.
If nobody else has a question, Andrew, you know, it's not on here, but since we're talking about fees, I think it's something that we should address because it always bothered me, and it's continued to bother me, and maybe you can put me at ease here. When we charge for gas at the marina, okay, we have a set rate that we charge. We buy gas at $2 and we sell it at $2.80, right? So it's an 80-cent markup no matter what it is, okay? Which is fine if it's at $2. My issue is when it jumps up to $3, we still charge 80 cents, right? So we're not doing it by percentages, we're doing it by flat numbers. Now, this may be something that we took on in the past that we didn't have any kind of technology that would help us do this and do the calculations for us. But we certainly shouldn't be losing percentages on money so as gas goes up, we're actually making less money per gallon. When technically I think we should probably at least be making as much, if not more, because there's obviously more of a demand for it. That's why the price is going up, right? So is this something, I don't even know where this is in the book, but I know it's been a practice that's been used for a while. And like I said, I think in the past it was used just because it was easy. Well, now we have a lot of technology that we can just, instead of putting the cost in and it raising it 80 cents, maybe we do something a little different. Maybe we raise it, 40% we make per gallon no matter what. I don't think people shop us price-wise for gas. Commercially, yes, but we don't have much of a commercial business anymore. Recreationally, I don't think people shop gas. They go to the nearest gas pump and they fill up as long as they're all relatively around the same price, which I think, even if we did percentage-wise, I don't think we'd be far off from anybody else. Is that Megan, is that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I saw you running away, I didn't want you to get out of here because it's not, I'm done, because I know you know what this is about. Maybe that's why you're running. But that's the procedure, right? We get a price for gas and we mark it up 80 cents.
Correct.
Has nothing to do with
What
percentages.
it was 2 years ago when I was there.
Right. Has nothing to do with percentages. It's 80 cents per gallon no matter what. Is that because of the system that we have that we can't do a percentage increase, or did you have to do that manually when you were doing it?
From 2 years ago when I was there, you would just put it into the system, and you would put in the cost, and then you put in the markup. And
you'd always be 80 cents. There wasn't, you put in the cost and it automatically goes from $2 to $2.80, right? You'd have to put $2, then you'd have to put 80 cents, and it'd be $2.80.
Yes.
Maybe it was a manual thing that we were doing then. If we have this upgrade in technology that we have, I don't know. It just seems like we're giving money away by not charging a certain percentage for gas on the way out. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but I think we're kind of literally just watching money go out the door for no real apparent reason.
Well, the one issue I have with that, Commissioner Andrews, is that if we were way below what others were charging, our commercial accounts would have come back. And I've spoken to several people. I talked to Tim Notchman trying to get him to bring his boats down here. He said, you know, you're not cost competitive. I just have it trucked in. Why should I bring my fishing boats back to Madeira Beach? And I think if we do that, we may be shooting ourselves in the foot. I think people, when you're filling up a big boat, I mean, I filled up yesterday, and it was $200, which isn't a lot to a lot of people, but it was to me. I shop price, and I think a lot of people do, particularly, you know, you're looking around now and you see boats with 4 engines on them. I think they do shop price, and I would say we're very competitive and maybe a little lower than some of the other places, but that's probably a good thing. And that's just my feeling on it. I would think we would at least leave it where it is for right now, and we don't need a feasibility study, but we could.
Well, do we even know what the norm is out there in the industry?
Well, that's it. You know, we can, you know,
I can get with the marina director.
Shop the area and just see what the market will bear.
I can get with the marina director and get his, see if he knows what the market generally charges in the area and what the markup typically looks like and where we compare to it, and then report back.
Okay. Thank you.
Because, I mean, that's, you know, honestly, I don't have gas pumps, but most 7-Elevens do. That's what's being done. I mean, they survey the area, they see what the price is, and, I mean, obviously it's a little bit more complex in the system we have. We can press in a number, you can charge whatever price you want for gas. You just want to remain competitive to get people in the store. I think it's a little different there. And on the commercial side, I mean, I don't think we were ever the lowest price in town. That wasn't why the commercial boats were all coming. And now all of a sudden they're not because we're not the cheapest. I don't really buy into that because we haven't changed our pricing scheme. Our pricing scheme has remained exactly the same. We did take away some discounts in a past commission, which screwed some things up. But even when those discounts came back, the boats didn't. So I'm not even sure that that's a price issue. But again, just from the 10,000-foot view, I'm not there every day and I don't run it. And while I see commercial fishermen every day, I don't discuss gas with them. So, but yeah, I mean, I just think it's something we need to keep an eye on. I would hate to be, you know, because honestly, if you look at the revenues from the marina, most of the marina revenues are generated from gasoline. Yeah. We need profitability in there to pay. I mean, we're paying. You look at how we're going way off topic. I just wanted to make one quick point. The marina itself, if you look at it and you look at the revenues that come in from the marina is really a 7-Eleven with boat slips, is really what it boils down to. And, you know, there's not really much outside of gas, a store, and boat slips that any other revenues are being obtained from, okay? An occasional tournament here or there, but that's not a significant number, right? So when I look at, and that's why I get kind of frustrated when I look at what we're paying out for employees. My store is open 24 hours a day. My payout on staff is half of what we pay our marina employees. So why I get all fired up when we look at these things and see those numbers gradually creeping up from 2017 year after year after year after year. What's different? What are we doing differently at the marina? Absolutely nothing. All the revenues still derive from the same spot. So again, I went way off topic. I'm sorry, guys. It was just something that that's been bothering me for a while, why we haven't been competitive. But I agree, John, if that's, I don't have a boat. So if people are cost price shopping, let's try to just keep up with the market is what I would say. I don't think maybe we need a competitive percentage in there. I think we probably just need to keep an eye on it and do more shopping. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think probably the marina's top-heavy staff-wise. I could be wrong, but
Well, I would suggest that when we send out the new bills with the increases, we make a notation, I don't know who sends out the bills, I'm assuming the city does, that this is the first increase in 5 years, you know, or something to make it a little more palatable for people that are keeping their boats down there, that's all.
yep. Okay.
But
Nothing else
I
for
don't
me.
think it's,
Okay, I had one or two questions. One was alcohol license. Didn't we talk about raising that to $700? Or was that next? See, it's 500.
I remember the discussion, but I can't remember, I didn't think anybody was against it. Maybe it just got missed. We can go back and check the record, and we can, if we need to address it, we can address it in the second reading of the ordinance, I'm sure.
Is that anything, am I off base on that, Commission? Is that something we want to just leave at 500, or?
yeah, I think so. I think what it was is, there was something in there, I can't remember, I didn't know we were gonna go through this whole, I thought we were gonna come back to this, but, there was something where we weren't in reality charging what the book said. And I'm not sure if it was alcohol or not, I don't think so, I think everyone's been paying 500.
Guys, what page are we on? I'm sorry.
That's on page
39.
39 of 278. That's a small thing, really, but I just thought I had remembered that discussion, whether we want to go back to it or not, you know. If y'all are good at 500, I'm good with that 500. I can't imagine we're going to, you know, what do we have? Half a dozen a year.
Well, I don't want to put up any roadblocks to new bars.
Okay, and we touched on parking meters citywide at 250, but it didn't go anywhere. We were talking about a parking garage at 130th. Is that 130th, 131st? But in speaking with shop owners at Johns Pass, they're vehemently against an increase in parking meter revenue. They're telling me the city should go out and take out a loan to build a parking garage. Well, that's not going to happen, I wouldn't think. You know, if that's their attitude, then maybe they should go out and buy a piece of land and put up their own parking garage.
They can't because nothing is zoned for it. Believe me.
I know. I said that tongue-in-cheek, and I knew
Oh,
that
okay.
wasn't going to happen. So is that something we want to look at now, or just kick it on down the road and come back to it at a later date?
Well, let's see what the marina does first, because if we don't go with the marina, then we maybe should have some capital improvement coming ahead and build something nice right there.
Okay.
That will make money,
Okay.
you know? And I remember what it was the parking permits that I was wondering if our weekly and monthly parking permits could go up rather than the hourly rate. That was,
What page are you on?
you know what, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It says
46.
13. 46. That was a long time ago when I made those notes, but that was the only, thing I had. I don't know if you...
Sure.
Well, I see a daily permit
That's it, yeah.
at $35. That's more than it costs to pay hourly. I guess that's for special events.
Yeah, that's for a daily permit for
All right, hold
somebody to
on.
park there.
Yes, we don't have a daily permit.
Look
We
at
have-
page 45. That's where it is. Page 45
Yeah.
of 278. Weekly is 60, monthly was 120.
If I may, those are dreadfully low.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, you got people here that, you know, they're on vacation, they know that they're gonna have to pay if they bring an extra car. I mean, they have a parking spot if they rent out a spot, and, you know, $100 for a week is nothing. It really is. There's, you know, they shouldn't be, I mean, I hate to say this out loud, but it should be more of a deterrent, because if they wanna bring another car, they gotta pay. That's just how it works. I mean, I get, during the summer months and during spring break, I have 10 people a day that come in and ask if they can park on the side of the building. They're willing to pay me whatever, I don't take it. But the idea is, well, if we're gonna do this, every time for $60, I mean, somebody's there the whole week, we're losing money. Because that spot would have been filled by somebody with a daily rate, so. Just my thoughts. I mean, I think that could be 100, and the other one could be 180 for a month, or even $200 for the month.
100 and 200.
Yeah, I think that's more appropriate.
And I've got to tell you, when I was in Savannah, they have an app. It's $2 an hour to park between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., all right? After 8 p.m., everyone can park for free, because they want people to go to the restaurants along the river. You just go on the app. You see when you arrive and when you're going to pull out, and it charges you, and then it pulls up a reminder to tell you you got half an hour for it to, you know, you want to extend it or whatever. I ended up parking in the same spot for 4 days, just paying $24 a day. And I was happy to have it, like, right outside my hotel, because there's no parking there. The hotels are charging like $35, $40 to park per night. So there's no parking there. So every single spot is, that app was very cool. And I did it because I'm on vacation. I thought it was better. I wanted access to my car right there. But anyway, I say we increase the weekly and increase the monthly.
Can I ask, so just for my notes, 100 for the weekly and 200 for the monthly, is that?
I think that's
I
good.
think that's fair.
Okay.
Megan, did you have something?
Okay. Okay, oh, okay.
Is that the way Park Mobile works? Okay.
I haven't used it here, so I didn't know until the doorman at the hotel said, just do this and go park over there, you know. Yes,
Okay.
only it was Park, or Savannah, SAV Park or something, you know, it's like, but Park Mobile, okay.
Mr. Trask, do we need to vote on these changes going up to $100 and?
The motion to approve the ordinance should just reflect the changes that you're making.
Okay.
You can do that all in one motion. So the motion to approve ordinance 2021-19 with the following amendments, and you're just going to list them. The weekly permit, $100, the monthly permit, $200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so before we run away, you were talking about a parking garage, and if we do want to do a parking garage, I really want the commercial people in the town to pay for it much more than residents, because the residents don't need it. So,
Then we'll have to share the money with them.
Residents don't pay for parking, so the residents wouldn't be paying for it. If we go up on the parking rate to whatever, whether it's $2.75 or $3, that's what would be paying for a parking garage. And we would, you know, if we do that, we would stipulate that in it, that money is to be directed towards construction of a parking garage so that it doesn't fall on the residents. I'm not for putting financial burden on the residents, and that's why I felt like I did on building a high-dry storage facility on what Cardinal brought us certainly. So, and we can come back to this, parking meter and rate and parking garage at another time. I would think we can just move forward with what we've got with those changes right now, if that's acceptable to everyone.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 2021-19 with the addition that we're also going to increase our weekly parking pass to $100 and our monthly parking pass to $200.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks.
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is selecting candidates to be interviewed for city manager position. It's on the Board of Commission. And I would think it would be appropriate for City Manager Daniels to leave the room right now. I don't know what would be, I've never,
Okay.
This is my first time on this one, so.
Yeah, it's a public meeting, so if he wants to leave, he can, but he has no obligation to. He could step off that desk and sit right there. He has the legal right to be here. So
Okay.
whatever,
All right.
Whatever his pleasure at this point, since it is a public meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what procedure I should follow. Thank you.
If you want me to leave, I'll leave.
I'm fine, Bob. Okay. Everyone has received a packet with the resumes, some qualified, some not so qualified. I'm sure we've had them long enough to have gone through and selected our choices. I would hope everyone's got 5 or 6 that they're interested in.
I do.
And the city clerk has given us a form. What I have done on the form was I marked my top 5 on the form. If each of y'all will do that, then we will compare and see what each one came up with. I think for me it was a pretty easy choice for the top 5.
I guess when I looked through it, I was somewhat disappointed in the qualifications for most of these people. So I would like to interview the candidates that others have agreed on. I don't really have a top 5, possibly a top 2, but I think I wasn't very impressed.
Okay.
I think we've kind of scared people away, or the better candidates we've scared away.
Well, and it can always be opened back up. There's nothing that says we can't do that either. Or we can go ahead and combine what each of us has picked out.
Why don't we each go through, name the 5,
Yeah.
put it on the form, and see what 5 most people chose?
Agreed.
Since we kind of agreed to come out of here with 5 names. If we come out of here with
Yeah.
8 names, maybe we come out of here with 8 names.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't, 5's not carved in stone.
Yeah.
It may be 10. If you like, I'll get it started and go with my top 5. That will be Lyndon Bonner, Carl Brown, Robert Daniels, Timothy Day, Lee Allen Staub.
Well, I'll go next since I'm next column. I've got Lyndon Bonner, Timothy Day, Jeffrey Durbin, Lawrence McNall, and Lee Staub.
Lawrence Mc...
Number 24, it's McNall.
Oh, there it is,
That N should be
okay.
capitalized, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the ones that I picked was Michael David Iverstedt. Next one is Lyndon Bonner. Next one is Carl Brown. Also Bob Daniels. And then Michael Jason Martin.
I missed one
Which
of
one?
yours.
Which one?
The one that I don't know, it was about the second or third one you called.
Lyndon Bonner.
No,
It was Bierstead, Bonner.
Bierstead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the one I did
You
not
got
get.
that one?
Michael David Bierstead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
I get all these check marks now, I'm confused. I got Lyndon Bonner. Number 8, Timothy Day. Number 9, Jeffrey Durbin. Number 18, Elizabeth Ladner. And number 24, Lawrence McNall. Repeat it, no problem. Number 3, Lyndon Bonner. Number 8, Timothy Day. Number 9, Jeffrey Durbin. Number 18, Elizabeth Ladner. And number 24, Lawrence McNall.
Okay, the ones I had were 3, 6, and 8. 3, 6, and 8.
Okay.
Well, if we picked everyone who had 2 votes or more, there'd be 7 candidates.
Fair enough.
Or we could narrow it down to 3 or more, but then that really,
Yeah, that's, pretty thin pickings. There are some of these candidates that I would like to talk a little farther about.
Mm-hmm.
One is Lee Allen Staub. And I see he only got 2 checks. There are people that come along that, probably are very qualified.
yeah, his only, what I considered kind of a negative was the lack of Florida experience. But he's already ICMA, he's got county-wide experience, which I think is really good, Army Corps of Engineer experience.
Quite a bit with the Corps that caught my eye. And
Yeah,
that was,
he seemed to be have a big brain. And I liked his comment about building relationships. Where did that go? I highlighted.
If I may, I loved him. He's probably completely overqualified for here. He's never lived anywhere near here before, so the idea of him packing up and moving from the west down here to sunny Florida. I don't know if that's a thing for him. I shouldn't be making that decision for him, but so you're right. I didn't know we were just doing 5. He would have been, if we had 6, he would have been my sixth pick. I'd love to talk to him, so there was really no negative against him. I just kind of like the other candidates better, mainly because, and I think when we go through it, you'll find a lot more have a little bit more Floridian roots and a little bit more Florida experience. The idea of moving somebody, especially of this caliber, that's going to cost money, so.
Yeah, and I don't want to just give someone a free move to Florida. So
Well, we don't
I
have
get
to.
that.
If he wants the job, he'll move down.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that really surprises me, and I don't know if it does anyone else, we are a beach town, and to have someone come in like Massachusetts or Colorado or a state other than Florida, they're not familiar with the Gulf. They're not familiar with the red tide. They're not familiar with any of the things that happen on the water. And to me, that's very important. So that's why I kind of picked the way I did. But that is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought of that too. Actually, this gentleman was my number 1 pick, and he didn't have my number 1 qualification, which was Florida experience.
Right, yeah.
It's just,
yeah,
I figured this guy could learn anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So,
1, 2, 3.
but we agreed on quite a few.
So, you said 3 or above, Commissioner
Yes.
Price, Vice Mayor Price?
If we choose 3 or above, or no, 2, I said, 2 or above.
2 or above? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that
he's
gives
in
us
the,
7 people.
he's in there then. I was
Yeah, he's
thinking
in
you
there.
said 3. Okay, fine.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay,
I mean, I can start at the top. We have Mr. Bonner, who overwhelmingly got everyone.
right.
Carl Brown, number 4. Robert Daniels, number 6. Timothy Day, number 4. Jeffrey Durbin, which is number 5. And it jumps down to Lawrence McNall, and then Lee Staub.
Okay.
Just, do we all want to have 7 conversations with folks? I mean,
I do.
I'm happy to.
Well,
Yeah.
I've spoken with Mr. Lilly, and we've got the rooms available. The ones that are long distance, we will not be flying them in. We will be doing them on Zoom. We'll set up a day when we can just rotate through a certain office that has a Zoom set up with a candidate and each interview them. And the ones that are close enough to be local, Mr. Daniels obviously is right here, and I've spoken to Bob previously. I think he has prior commitments later in the week, and long before all this process started, he had asked for that time off, and I don't think it's fair to him to ask him not to go on what he already had planned. So I would like to see him early in this process of interviews. So I would say with these 7 people, we go ahead and start the interview process.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, and I think we all decided too, you're not required to interview all 7 of them. If there's ones that you don't want to interview, it's completely up to you what you want to do. But I think the best way to do it would be, and this is, like, I'm just making a suggestion, not a, best way to do it is if Sean talks to these folks and gets a couple of days, 2 different 3-hour sessions where they're available, especially the ones out of state. In these initial interviews, if you're going more than a half an hour, you're going way too long. I think we just want to get a feel for who's the best, and that'll help us narrow down this pool. So I'm thinking half hour interviews. People that can come in, great. That actually tells me a lot, especially if they're here in Florida, if they make the trip. shows me a little bit of a commitment. If they can't make it, I'm perfectly okay with that. Then we do the Zoom interviews. Again, the other qualification that we talked about, not only do you not have to interview everybody, you also don't have to have any other staff in there with you. If you want to interview personally by yourself, terrific. If you want help, terrific, ask for help. But, you know, this is our hire as a group. Individually, let's make our decisions, and then reconvene, and then share our thoughts. I mean, we can go through these resumes right now, but we're going through a piece of paper. So it's not going to, you know, once you get to talk to these people about the points that you really like, Commissioner, or Vice Mayor Price had a great point. She made a list of qualifications that she was actually looking for. Those should be the qualifications that you talk to the candidate about. Heck, I'd love for you to share your list out here in front of us, because it would be really nice to kind of agree on what we're looking for. There you go. Oh, there's your list, right? It's on the back of the piece there. I think that's cool. So, yeah, I think that if Sean can get these candidates to agree to 2-3 hour blocks of time, and we can fit them into our schedule, we pick one, figure out how long you want to talk to them, figure out, you know, what the procedure is going to be, and we just go from there. Just my thoughts, guys.
Yeah, and I would say when you set it up for 30 minutes for each commissioner. That's all we need. I can't imagine. Just a 3 hour
block, and then I left next week wide open for that. Right. So,
yeah, so basically what I'd like to do, unless somebody's coming here, then let's just reserve one day for them, and then we all meet with them. But if they're another candidate from out of state and we're doing a Zoom call, why don't we set up Tuesday and Thursday between XYZ, and you just pick whatever time you want. We just want to make it as convenient for them and for us as possible. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and if they want to come in on their nickel, that's fine. And you have a list of questions, is that correct?
I have a list of suggested questions.
Beg your pardon?
I have a list of suggested questions.
Okay. Although I'm sure we will all have our own questions, as I've jotted mine down, but there are also questions that I think would be good to have some uniformity in that we're asking them, and y'all may disagree, but if we have some consistency in our interviews, I think that'll give a better overall picture. And you know, there are intangibles too, that, you know, of other questions that'll need to be asked. So I guess we can, you know, I guess you can ask what you want, but I also suggest that we go by that list of common questions that we all had, that we use also in addition to other questions we may have. Just my suggestion.
Well, we had a couple things, like Mr. Bonner looks very good, but he had some type of a problem when at one of his previous locations. He also sued the city when he was part of North Miami, I believe. So, you know, those are questions I think we need to ask.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Day, when he was in Melbourne, I believe they wanted him in-house, and he finally couldn't do it and resigned. And then he was hired by the city just to the south of that, and he quit before he even started. So, I mean, when you start looking at these people, there's other things that show up.
Yeah, Commissioner Hudson, with all due respect, I mean, unless we're going to go through every candidate like this and talk about them prior to going into meetings with them, I think obviously we're allowed to ask whatever questions we want, but there's other candidates on the list that have some outstanding issues. I think we interview them first, and then once we dwindle this list down, then we can start getting a little bit more into stuff like that. I just think that would be kind of an unfair advantage to throw something like that out there without really knowing anything about the situation. People leave jobs before they start all the time. I mean, something happens in the in the process with benefits and things like that. There's a million reasons why that happened, so let's not look at that as a negative. Let's go in this with open minds. Let's talk to these candidates as open as we can. I'm not a big fan of the 20-question thing. I think it's a waste of time with professionals of this level, but that's just my opinion. I like to get a personal feel for the candidates, see what's going on, and then if we want to have a group interview after we narrow it down to 3, then we can ask them those questions. But, I mean, asking somebody what they found out from the city of about the city of Madeira Beach after they applied, you know, it's like asking what their favorite color is.
Well,
it's just, you know, there's certain questions that I think, you know, we just got to get by. Let's find the best candidate for the job, not the guy that's the most professional because those professional interviewers answer those questions really well because they know they're coming. I want somebody who's going to be the best person to run the city, period. I don't care if they can answer those questions at all. So, and I don't necessarily believe that system works all the time. I don't think it works here, so.
Well, normally you don't have 5 people interviewing someone either, Doug. So, and all I'm wanting is to be sure we do have some consistency in addition, and I stated that, in addition to other personal questions that you have. That goes for each commissioner. You know, I'm sure we all have questions that aren't on any list. I'm sure I've got questions on here that probably none of the other 4 of you have, like, how big a boat do you own? So that's all I was saying is just. Okay. Okay, Doug. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Do you want me to stick to the 2 o'clocks each day? Or are you guys free?
You know, personally, I'm open to any time they need to interview. I don't know how the rest of the commission is on that, but you know, some of these, I don't know if any of them are employed presently. Some of them, there's one that I picked that actually has a 2-year gap that shows nothing. So that's a big question, but I'm okay for the week. How about the rest of you?
I'm wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it easy.
Maybe do a block starting at 9:30 or 9 or 10, and
10.
maybe another one starting at, and another one starting at 2. You know, get 2 done in a day for some of these folks, if they have more than,
just arrange it as you see fit, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about availability.
Right.
Like, it's pretty short notice.
And it may be later if some of them are working a job and can't break free and, you know, and have to do it at 5 in the afternoon. Personally, I'm okay with that as long as we don't have another meeting planned.
Okay.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Everyone else all set?
Yep.
If there's nothing else, does anyone else have anything?
I just want to remind everybody at 4:30 on Wednesday is the grand opening for the building department downstairs. So I believe an email went out, but sometimes it goes out too early or too late. So I just wanted to make sure that you all are aware of it.
Then we have a meeting right after, right, at 6?
Yep.
Okay, so cool. Yeah.
I just have one more question, I'm sorry. Do you want me to pull the background checks now on this group?
Well, what's our next step? To narrow it down to 3? Or what's our, I mean?
We may be down to 1 once we get done. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
so.
I think we get it on all 7.
Yeah, okay.
It's something I did want to bring up, and it's strictly choice, I understand. I see Mr. Daniels has a mask on, as does Commissioner Hodges. I lost a good friend yesterday.
Mayor, if I may,
And-
what I have is a memo ready to go out to our employees. We have 3 now, or 2, that are definitely down with COVID, and we need to protect our employees, we need to protect ourselves, we need to protect the public. So if there's any objections, my plan was to go ahead and issue the memorandum again back to City Hall, where we again put the mask in place, social distancing, and stress the hand washing and so forth, and not being in large crowds, and with our employees, and then obviously if with your permission we can extend it to the public that comes into City Hall as well. It just, again, we don't know. We thought we had this thing licked, and obviously it's whether you have an injection or not, you can still catch it, and I think the health department's done a great job and everything else, but it's just that big unknown. So, Mayor, I'm sorry for jumping in on you, but
No, I appreciate it, really. I want to apologize for that, but he was a very close friend. Business owner, had the largest private printing company in Pinellas County, sold that business 3 or 4 months ago to retire, and got COVID and didn't make it. So
sorry.
And he was a resident of Madeira Beach for many, many, many years. He lived on Crystal Drive. So my condolences to the family. And with that, if there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.